No, what am I saying?
What, this? It's nothing. Really, it's nothing, Ed. It's just, it's just vocal minority with Nick and Steve.
Have a good time. Make sure your seatbelts are fastened.
Okay, you little bastards. The time has come. The moment we've all been waiting for. It's the vocal minority with Nick and Steve Alabrewski. Let's go.
No zippity-doo-dah, zippity-a. My, oh my. This, ladies and gentlemen, will be a wonderful day with the vocal minority, Nick and Steve Alabrewski, back for, well, another fantastic podcast, yo.
Nice. I wasn't sure if you were going to say day or gay or neither. Zippity-doo-dah, how wonderfully gay.
Wow, I've never heard that version.
Funnier. It's to do like a zippity-doo-dah, zippity, and, then just continue on. Don't ever rhyme it, because it makes people's brains just feel unconnected.
Makes them hurt a little bit. Like, what the hell did I just hear?
Right. They're waiting for the rhyme, and if you don't do it, it's a good tease. I'm all about the tease.
Do you do that, dude? Do you walk around with the zippity-doo-dah? I mean, I've never heard you do that.
I'll unzippity my doo-dah if the occasion calls for it.
We know you will. Oh, speaking of which, man, dude, yes. Let's just hop right into the show. Welcome to the program. It's the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve Alabrewski. And why aren't people calling this comment line, dude?
Why aren't they?
Yeah, I don't get any comments.
It may be the fact that it's the year 2024 and everyone feels comments are done in the comments section. I'm not sure how many people pick up a toll-free phone number anymore and call somebody.
Well, how do we get them? I mean, I want people to be able to interact with the show. And when I meet people out and about, they're always like, oh, I wanted to call in so bad, or I wanted to make a comment so bad. That's why we got the line.
Yeah, persistence. We just got the thing. Let's just keep putting it out there, and I don't know. Somebody will start at some point, and then the floodgates will be open, I assume.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be an experiment that fails. I don't know. One of the two.
But you know what, though, Nick? You did say that your Gen Z niece has anxiety about making phone calls.
Yeah. I should ask my kids, my teenagers, do you know what a toll-free phone number is? Does that mean anything to you at all?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we don't ever have to dial long distance anymore, unless we're calling out of the country and then it's a country code. But yeah, I mean, that makes perfect sense. I think we're headed towards, I think it sounds very isolating to not have human interaction with people and stuff like that. Like, I think it's a little dangerous, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think it's how we learn. I mean, I think it's how we learn so many things, whether it's just knowledge about a topic or the way to socially interact is going away. And I feel it's important to learn if you want to get out into the job market.
It's evolving. It's changing. Because as I approach 50, I don't care if I don't see any people again. Like I've had enough of y'all, and I'm good with less interaction. But when you're a teenager growing up in this environment, I think it's probably putting a further rift there. And I don't know. Everyone's so willing to comment in the comment section on social media, but no one's picked up a phone to yell at us or anything.
But because that's your voice, and you're seeing, this is so and so from Grand Platte, Nebraska.
Right, you're no longer a keyboard warrior.
Yeah,
you're now
exactly.
A person. I guess you're right.
So,
well, we'll keep pushing it, and we'll see. And call 844-48-VOCAL for the love of God. You can call in Chinese or Russian. I don't care.
Yeah, we'll translate it. And like Brewski said, you can call us and have some single phone sex. I mean, I don't know if you want to masturbate or if you just want to act like you're having phone sex, but when's the last time you had phone sex with a unidentified flying object? Okay.
Listen,
come on.
I was in Vegas this weekend, and we'll talk about it in the next episode, but I saw a TV commercial for a phone sex line, and I was like, is that still a thing?
Ooh. Have you ever called one?
In 1989 or something from my mom's basement.
Yeah.
Brewski, when's the last time you called a pay for phone sex hotline?
It's been a while, but I will say that
10 years?
probably a little more than that. Yeah.
All right.
But I will say though that there still are like just regular chat lines that you can call up and that sort of thing.
It's funny. We got a lot of listeners on the radio when we worked overnight. Steve and I used to call those chat lines, and all you had to do was make a semi-funny, interesting intro message, and people would connect with us all the time. Those chat lines were a gold mine.
When I first moved to Seattle, and that would have been 1998, I was calling a chat line in Seattle. I was getting more ass than a toilet seat. Yes, dude. Yeah, wow. Chicks would come to Capitol Hill. I'd take them to the bar. We'd have a few drinks and everything. Next thing you know, well, back in my place, bang, bang, bang. It was amazing. That's where I met the chick that lactated on my face.
Wow. I mean, if that's an endorsement, dude. And do we know your body count, by the way? Have we ever talked about it?
I don't think we've talked about it.
But one time we did. I thought you said it was, you didn't have an exact number because I knew mine, but you said you were like around 30. You didn't think
exactly. It's not anything too crazy. I mean, I didn't start doing anything really until I was like 21.
You hook up with memorable people that a story is just born from it. So I think that's why we've heard these tales and just assume one story equals 10 women and,
Oh, no, nothing like that.
All right.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you this. We interrupt our program to bring you a special.
Here is a news bulletin. We interrupt this program to bring
you the humanity and all the things. A date which will live in infamy. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Need to know news.
I said, oh, Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
News you need to know.
I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Steve Harness.
Wow. Hi. Okay, the great American poet laureate, Mr. James Hetfield, once said, singer for Metallica, he once said, careful what you wish, you just might get it. Careful what you wish, you might regret it. And I think the GOP is starting to see that in a few different facets of their life. Now, first of all, the Roe v. Wade thing, we're seeing that actually conservatives do want abortions. They don't say that publicly, but they do need them. We just saw the IVF getting somewhat temporarily banned in Alabama or derailed, and that was a result of Roe v. Wade. Now Republicans are realizing we won IVF. So, but I think this story is even more important.
Enticing.
And something we were just kind of talking about. Pornhub has been disabled in the state of Texas over its objections to a new law that requires the site to verify users' ages. So, Texans, conservative red state, your Ted Cruz loving idiots down there, you now don't have access to the world's largest porn site. When trying to log on in the state of Texas right now, users will see the message. As you may know, y'all. No, it didn't say y'all, but it should. As you may know, your elected officials in Texas are requiring us to verify your age before allowing your access to our website. Not only does this impinge on the rights of adults to access protected speech, America, it fails strict scrutiny by employing the least effective and yet also most restrictive means of accomplishing Texas state's proposed purpose of allegedly protecting minors.
Well, you know what? This is going to blow up on them too. I mean, blow up without them blowing up. All these people that can't get their porn are going to become sexually frustrated and start being even more rude and angry and violent. Yes. This is going to put Republicans in Texas on display, I think. Show them, let's show you who you are, dude. You don't want to believe in the arts? I mean, come on. You guys use us for all kinds of shit. All the pleasure in your life comes from us. All right, I'm just going to say that.
Listen, God created these beautiful naked bodies for us all to enjoy. And from what I've seen, they're very holy. So enjoy them. You know what I mean?
Sometimes, I mean, we could have a lot of holes happening at once.
One of the things Pornhub is pointing out, too, that basically us adults, like if we're going to access Pornhub, we're going to have to prove our identity, which means 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to submit your driver's license or some government document to prove that you are 18 or older, which means Pornhub will now be storing all of that personal information. So what's going to happen the next time there's a cyber attack, Pornhub gets hacked, all of your personal information, Texans, will be on file with Pornhub, and everyone will know that you did it because it's your ID. You know, the old Ted Cruz, when he posted the porn thing on Twitter, he tried to claim I got hacked. It was someone else. Well, you can't claim you got hacked if they also have a copy of your driver's license. So it's a careful what you wish for, because minors will find ways around it, and all of us adults are now giving our personal information to the world's biggest porn company to do with whatever they're going to do with it and hope it doesn't get hacked.
That's my lifelong issue, and there's a problem, I think, but I've never paid. Well, just think about this before you respond. Yeah. I've never paid for a specific porn site. I've never had a membership to a porn site for exactly this reason. I was like, I'd like to look at that. And then I thought to myself, like, I don't want to pay this porn site and have all my, they're going to know Nick Reynolds paid for women who milk or, whatever it might be.
It's interesting. That's the first thing that came to the top of your head. I wonder why that was your example.
Brewski said something about, milking on a woman. So,
you've been saying for years, though, that you want to either try breast milk or watch it or something. So
sure.
It's a coincidence. But.
Yeah. No, it's no coincidence, dude.
Would you like to know what it tastes like?
Let me describe it to you first and tell me if I'm close, all right?
Okay.
Is this your fantasy? What?
Well, this is just kind of from the research I've done because, I want to know what it's all about.
Sure.
Is it a little bit sweet tasting? Is it a sweet dairy product? Kind of like low-fat sweet milk?
No, it's more tangy.
I think it depends what you eat and what you ingest, right?
Exactly. But I can tell you in my experience when it happened to me,
right.
When I was asleep and that woman was lactating on my face, and I woke up asking her to stop doing it, and she said, "Oh, you don't like this?" Well, obviously, if I'm asking you to stop, by that point she'd already gotten some in my nose and my mouth, and it's almost like if you happen to taste your own sweat.
You have talked me out of my lifetime fetish, dude. I no longer want to try it. Listen,
no.
I thought it would taste like sweet cream. I hoped, I guess, it would taste like heavy cream.
I mean, that's what I was always told. It's sweet and it's warm. Obviously, it's body temperature. But Jamie never breastfed, so I never had a opportunity, nor would I have actually signed up for that trip. But
you need a wet nurse. That's what you need. You need a wet nurse.
I do need a wet nurse, not one that does any sort of lactation services. I just need a horny wet nurse. Is what I need.
Oh no, I'm talking about the wet nurse in the true sense of the word.
Oh right, no, all nurses when they get around me are wet, but I'm sorry. But Nick, to answer your original question, I've never paid for porn either. Not out of any principled stance or fear of hacking. It's just
it's free.
If food is free, why are you buying it?
Yeah. So, that is also a consideration. So
right, porn is free everywhere, as far as I've ever found. So yeah, I don't know, Brewski. Any special site you saw that you felt you had to pay for?
Oh yeah. There's some OnlyFans chicks out there that I paid for.
See, not be the modern exception because that's the girl next door, the celebrity crush or whatever. And I don't know. I've literally never been on OnlyFans, and I'm almost afraid that I might get sucked in if some woman from a reality show I want to watch get banged is on there. Now I have to pay.
Well, I'll tell you that there used to be this car show on Discovery Channel called Fast and Loud. And they had this secretary named Christy Brimberry. And I had seen that somebody said that she was on OnlyFans. I'm on OnlyFans just as fast as I finished reading that story. And sure enough, she was there. And I paid for a little bit of a subscription. And I was not disappointed. I got to see everything I'd always wanted to.
Doing everything by herself, or did she have?
Oh no! It was nothing like that. It was just all nude photos of her, like in a bathtub, and then other times, but you got to see everything, and I was not disappointed in the least.
The other problem with this Texas law is, okay, they're going after Pornhub because Pornhub is the most famous and probably has the most traffic and all that. Are you going to go after the 10 zillion other websites out there? I mean, obviously people in Texas are still watching porn. This is not through Pornhub. There's a lot of other options. You're going to track them all down, Texas government?
Well, it's a losing battle. no matter which way you slice it. I wonder what the real reason is, because they knew it would get press,
I was just saying, it's morality. It's for the children. Someone please think of the children.
Please,
But if they're offering like a 6-figure salary to track down all the porn sites out there that need to be blocked, I'd be happy to be on that council. I could probably lead it. So I'll send my resume over.
All right.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know. Start the news chant, please. Come on. News.
It's a Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve. Olabruski, need to know news. It's news you need to know. Have we seen Trump become more unhinged over the last week, or is this just Trump?
Yeah, I was going to say, sometimes it's hard to notice. It's like if the forest is on fire, did you notice that one more tree lit up as well?
Right, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Trump keeps setting the bar higher and higher and higher for outrageous things he can say that seem to have little to no effect. So yeah, what's the latest?
Where was he? Just in Ohio? Is that where his
Dayton, Ohio.
Dayton, Ohio. That's right. Thank you, Brewski.
That's punishment enough right there. So.
Those people really seem to be on board with him. I mean, those people seem to like him, and he's bringing back some of the classics. I've got a few things here to get to, but first, let's kick off with this whole bloodbath comment. You guys heard the bloodbath comment?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dog whistle at the very least of just like letting everybody know what's going to go down. We know that Mike Pence was only with Donald Trump because he wanted to be vice president. He has come out and said he's not endorsing Donald Trump for president.
Right. Which, by the way, is the first time that I can think of in history. I mean, maybe back in the Civil War or something, but when has a president run for a second term, kicked his vice president off the ticket, not for any health reason or anything else, just he doesn't like him anymore, and now that VP has come out to say, I do not support him. That I don't think that's ever happened in history.
I think it only happens when people threaten to hang you. And I think that'll do it. So, yeah, Trump was at his rally in Dayton and made this comment about bloodbath. I'll play the clip for you, but this is also with Mike Pence at the end kind of talking about, like, what do you think he meant?
I want you to listen to exactly what he said.
We're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole, that's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it.
What does that mean? And given how divided the country is, does that language concern you? Particularly when it comes to political violence.
Well, first, I want to commend you, Margaret, for putting that in context. I mean, I woke up this morning seeing online all the discussion about bloodbath, and as you've just reflected, the president was clearly talking about the impact of imports devastating the American automotive industry.
Was that clear to you? Because it was a little
think
muddled.
It was. Look, I want people to know. Look, the president and I. It was very clear for 4 years. The president and I have different styles. We're different men. But my differences with him are not over style. It's not over language. And as I said before, it's not personal.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. I mean, for me, the reason why I won't endorse Donald Trump this year is because I see him departing from the mainstream conservative agenda that has defined the Republican Party over the last 40 years and still has the best hope for the future of the country.
Why is he still kissing his ass, dude?
I was going to say, I mean, he's so boring to listen to. But, dude, jump off the Trump train already. I mean, even if you just want to take the political opportunity to throw him under the bus, like, why are you even trying to defend the guy? And, you know, I'm sure in the Pence household, a bloodbath is just what they do when she's on her period every month.
I mean, I really think, dude, that with all the stuff that Trump did, the way that Mike Pence supposedly, in public anyway, runs his life, and the things that he thinks are sinful and everything else, like, I don't ever understand how you spent any time with him.
Right. No, it's crazy. And I don't buy this Trump out of context thing. Like, even if you want to say he's referencing it initially, he then says that will be the least of it, meaning like the car stuff would be the least of it. There'll be a bloodbath in this country. Trump speaks off the top of his mind. He's inflammatory, and he thinks that there will be a civil war if he doesn't win. So I don't buy for a second that that's the only context he meant, was that it was referring to the auto industry.
Why would you ever describe something like that as a bloodbath? I mean, he talks about failure all the time. That would be the word to use, in that context. But he wasn't talking about that, dude. And like you said,
again, it's top of mind. He's thinking the civil war will happen if I don't win this election. Tariffs and other guys, it'll be a bloodbath in this country. It's of course what he meant, literally and figuratively.
And what he doesn't understand is that placing a 100% tariff on anything, or high tariffs like that on anything engaging in protectionism, actually ends up hurting our country. Because when we go to export our goods, well, what do you think is going to happen? You think other countries are going to be like, oh, you can tax us all the hell you want, and you can send your stuff here, no problem at all. You know what I mean?
No, it's a great point. We get so lost on him using bloodbath, even if that's what he's referring to. Did we forget that? That's a terrible idea to put 100% tariff. We make money when we sell products in other countries. You don't want to put 100% tariff on it.
And also, if there are tariffs on those products here in the United States, the companies that send those products are not the ones that are paying it. Consumers are the ones who have to pay it because the cost will be passed on to the consumer.
They don't care, dude. I think it is for them when they're cheering in the background. They like for him to be tough. Absolute, not 9. We're not going to do it to 9 people. We're going to do it to 10. All 10 of them are going to get it. Everything is absolute. I am the toughest person. I'm going to be tough on people. We're no longer going to be taken advantage of. And they don't think about any of the things that'll do to our country.
And you both said the same thing. You both just said they don't stop and think about these things. No shit. That is the core of the Trump base. Stopping and thinking is the last thing they're doing about anything. It's what you just said, Nick. It's all just inflammatory language that can get someone riled up. And so, yes, of course he meant bloodbath, because that's what he's thinking.
We know that Donald Trump is in a little shit right now for all the January 6th things that happened. He doesn't seem to care, dude. I mean, he doesn't really seem to care as he continues to push back as he opened that rally up in Dayton, Ohio with this bad boy. This is unbelievable.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the horribly and unfairly treated January 6th hostages.
They go on to sing it, and Donald Trump, camera on him. He's in his oversized blue suit with his, Make America Great hat on, and he is, up at attention saluting. Right. And people are being like, what are you doing, dude?
He's giving aid and comfort to insurrectionists. I don't know why anyone would think he's violated the Constitution.
Does he think this is going to help him in the long run? As he continues to do, maybe he will.
The only way he's winning re-election is if 100% of his base shows up and they can convince a couple morons to vote with them. So, he's not talking to anyone on the left or in the center. He's only talking to the far right. And by the way, can I just clarify real quick the stupidest fucking comment we've ever gotten on one of our social media pages?
Please.
Brewski, you remember last week I was talking about the center of this country. That the center, that the center of this country tends to lean to the left.
I remember you saying that, yeah.
Yeah, I did this whole little thing. And I looked up the stats, by the way, and I was right. It's about 37% are so-called moderates, about 25% are liberals. So added up, that's about 60% of the country that are center left. And so we posted this on TikTok, and one guy goes on there and comments about, you're not right about the center of the country. My daughter lives in Kansas, and there's a bunch of Trump supporters there. And I replied, I was like, wait a minute. When I said the center of the country, did you think I literally meant the center as in Kansas?
You were polite the way you said it because the guy was going to look dumb either way. So you were kind of polite when you said this first thing.
Yeah.
Right. And I wasn't sure if I was misunderstanding him. But he replied open up an atlas. Kansas is right in the middle of the map. My daughter lives under the staple in the middle of the page. I'm just like, you fucking idiot. The center of the country is a political term, not a geographic designation. Has this guy his whole life, when people talk about the center of our country, he thinks they're always talking about Kansas?
Yeah, must.
More than likely, I'm sure that's exactly what. Oh my gosh,
that is a Trump voter right there. I mean, come on.
You can't make that stuff up. That's the thing. Real life is better than fiction. They always say that, and this proves it right there.
And I replied to the guy, "You're hilarious and you're an idiot. The sender are moderates," and he disappeared. I don't know if he realized how dumb he was or didn't even comprehend what I was saying, but oh my God, the center of the country is Kansas, and they love Trump.
Unfortunately, I don't think he's alone. And these are the people like this gentleman made apparent that is voting for Trump, okay? Here is just a few. I don't even need to play this all, but this is a string of highlights from Dayton, Ohio, and the Donald Trump rally, okay?
You know what was interesting? Joe Biden won against Barack Hussein Obama. Has anyone ever heard of him?
No, he didn't.
Barack Hussein Obama. Funny. It's spelled Fanny. It's spelled Fanny like your ass, right? Fanny.
F-A-N-N-Y.
She decided to add a little French, a little fancy. Funny. And how about the changing of the names of, we won Fort Bragg, as an example. You know, the people in the area are going crazy. They changed the name of Fort Bragg. They changed the name of Fort Robert E. Lee. They changed the name of the different forts. We won World War One. We won
Trump loves
World
insurrectionists.
War II. We won everything we fought with, really, essentially, from those forts, if we wanted to win.
No, we didn't win from those forts.
Right.
World War I and World War II.
And I love his thing about Biden defeating Obama. That's hilarious.
Yeah, what is that, dude?
He was so fixated on slipping Hussein in there, Barack Hussein Obama, that he can't even put together the math that they didn't run against each other. They really couldn't have, except in a primary. And by the way, one was the other's vice president. Like, just,
but I think I'm giving him too much credit here.
But go ahead. Use the word think in Trump. So yes, you're giving him too much credit, but go ahead.
I can obviously when Barack Obama was running initially to be the Democratic nominee, both Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton were running against him in primaries. I don't believe that's what Trump meant.
I don't
but
either.
That was the case, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of wars we fight not to win. We fight just to fight because we have stupid people on top.
That's true for sure.
But we won World War
we may
I.
have stupid people on top, but how disrespectful to every soldier. We're sending you off to fight wars we don't even intend on winning.
But
I mean, I think there's some truth to that. I mean, don't you think?
Intend
it is
on
disrespectful.
Winning? I think we've always intended on winning everything, and whether that's a quagmire that's impossible or not, like Vietnam or something. But we don't just send troops for the fuck of it.
Maybe sometimes
maybe
we
a little
do.
fuck of
Dude,
it.
I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't think our government gives a fuck about our troops. I mean, I think that they treat them as they are machines.
Well, they're pawns. Yeah.
For sure. I mean, they don't care.
Well, I think though that I believe President Biden has done really well by the troops, but I think that it's taken having a president who had an active duty son who saw combat to actually be the person who has made, VA affairs an important policy point. You know what I mean? The veterans always deserve the absolute best.
Well, it could always be better, but Trump somehow made it all worse with his utter disrespect of vets, POWs, and somehow can still claim to be a patriot and still claim to be the commander-in-chief.
Well, the January 6th insurrectionists, those are the ultimate patriots in Trump's eyes.
We campaigned for a year, and I obliterate my competition, and they said, sir, please don't talk about these people that way. They're Republicans. I said, I don't give a shit.
I believe that. First true thing he said all night.
Yep. It's the truest thing we've ever heard him say, dude.
He does not give a shit about his party, his people, his constituents, and he doesn't give a shit about anything that he doesn't see staring at him in a mirror.
He's talking about Ron DeSantis when he says that, like, I don't give a shit the way I talk to him. And he goes on to say, like, I attacked him any way I possibly could. And now he is just a shadow of a man. I ruined him. And people are like, yeah. I'm just like, wow, dude, where are we right now?
We're in a terrible place in history that I just keep praying every day. Someday we'll look back and think it was comical that we thought Trump would somehow win the White House again, but it's making me a little nervous. So, we'll see. The only thing I'm holding on to is if he does win, we are now guaranteed another 4 years of material on this show. That's the only saving grace.
If we survive, dude, it's going to be a bloodbath, okay?
Right. If he doesn't kick us out or arrest us or whatever else. So, yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm seeing people. You remember when he was, like if he gets into office, I'm going to Canada. Like a lot of people said that, maybe myself included at some point. Like I dreamed of it. People are bringing that back and now know if he comes back for a second term, like, yeah, I am going to get the F out.
Nope. I'm staying and fighting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I respect it. I'm staying. I'll fight with you.
A lot of Canadians have said they don't want us, so
Yeah, we're an embarrassment, dude. We're arrogant, and come on. So we'll see where it all goes, but yeah, a little scary.
Need to know news.
I said, oh, Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
News you need to know.
I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
It's time for another brewski. This one is a crazy brewski.
Well, gentlemen, we know what yesterday was.
Yesterday.
Sex Day. No.
Brewski Christmas. Come on, man. It was St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patty's Day. Show the 4-leaf clover on your forearm, Brewski, for the audience. Beautiful.
Can you see that? I don't know.
Yes, you are a big St. Patty's Day guy, dude. That's your biggest holiday of the year?
Yeah, it's right there. Yeah. I mean, opening day comes close, but St. Patrick's Day would be number one for me. Yeah.
I know you were working for part of it. Did you get to partake at any point yesterday?
No, I did not because I was working. But I will on Wednesday be making my corned beef and cabbage.
Nice.
Because as soon as St. Patrick's Day happens, all the corned beef goes on sale, and I can get it really cheap, and I can just make corned beef for myself to be eating for the next weeks.
Yeah,
because my sister doesn't eat it. It's a party everywhere, and it's a party for a lot of people, including the Irish Navy.
Oh, they get the day off?
Well, technically, there's at least supposed to be a couple of boats that are out patrolling. And I have a story here that says that the Irish Navy missed drug bust because of St. Patrick's Day.
I love that they think that someone's going to invade Ireland if they all take the day off. But
were they drinking as they?
I would hope so.
All right.
Well,
have you ever been on a boat not drinking? I mean, come on.
Well, so I believe this particular ship is patrolling in more of a Coast Guard fashion, because it says here the Irish Navy's sole active ship did not join a hunt for cocaine shipments dropped at sea by drug smugglers because it was taking part in St. Patrick's Day celebrations.
Nice.
The ship George Bernard Shaw was the only active ship because of a combination of a manpower crisis, which has led to crew shortages and mechanical problems. Wow. The men were suspected of planning to pick up waterproof containers of South American cartel cocaine worth tens of millions of euros thrown overboard with tracking devices off the coast of Cork. But
after a few rounds of beers, they'd be seeking out that coke. You know what I mean? Not ignoring it.
Party time?
Right.
Yeah, you're an island, dude. You got to have some priorities. What were they thinking?
It's not like people were stealing potatoes. I mean, come
on. Well, that's another misnomer, by the way. There technically wasn't an actual famine. What it was that the British were stealing all the crops and taking them back to England and leaving nothing for the Irish. That's what it actually was.
Oh, but it's also a misnomer that Irish people eat corned beef.
I know, but this one does. So.
Why do you say that?
It is.
It's an American thing.
Yeah, it is. It's an American thing.
It's when they got to America after the potato famine or whatever, and they were struggling for cheap food, basically. So it didn't originate in Ireland. It originated with Irish immigrants in America.
Yes, well, what did they do on St. Patty's Day?
I drank beer and fought each other.
Probably. Well, whiskey, too.
Body check each other.
That's really funny. I always think about the cartels obviously bringing drugs into America. I forget that there's a global market they're serving. I mean, they really are ingenuitive down there, aren't they?
Yeah. They export to many different places, dude. I mean, it's a hell of a business if you can get in on it, you know?
I mean, seriously, though, taking a ship from Central America all the way to Ireland to drop some, luggage off the side with the tracking devices.
Yeah.
It's a lot of effort. This is why we should probably legalize all this crap. I mean, look at all the effort everyone goes through. Obviously, the cartels wouldn't be doing all of this if the countries didn't want their product.
Yes.
Supply and demand, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the cops, I feel like, should have just said, hey, guys, take the day. We'll do this. And then they could have just partied, do it for your service members, for crying out loud.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's asking too much to have these guys doing their job. I mean, but they were just kind of hanging out, probably picking up chicks. They're partaking in St. Patrick's Day festivities, and they're giving tours of the ship that they're on.
It's
you
true.
get drunk girls. You want to see see the bunks.
Drunk girls love semen. So yeah.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
Hello, Americans. This is Paul Harvey. Stand by for news.
All right, let's keep it on the green theme, I guess, as long as we're honoring St. Patrick's Day here. This is something that we've brought up on the show before, and it just drives me nuts. The misinformation and the boogeyman that marijuana is to conservatives that have no idea what the fuck they're talking about.
Sure.
It's kind of like when cops say, I smell marijuana. I always wonder, how do you know what it smells like? They pass around the joint at the academy? Hypocrite.
I think they show it to them, like all the drugs you get to inspect, so you know what you're looking for.
They would say I could smell marijuana in the car. How do you know what it smells like? You'd have to burn it to know what it smells like.
No, you can smell weed just sitting on the counter if it's strong enough, right?
You're giving cops a lot of credit. So anyway, marijuana, always misunderstood. The New Orleans Police Department says that rats cannot stop eating marijuana from their evidence room.
Huh.
The gang of pesky rodents have become, quote, high after making their way into the department's evidence room to nosh on narcotics, the New Orleans police superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick said. Quote from Kirkpatrick, the rats are eating our marijuana, and now they're all high.
Jay-Z, this is great, dude. This is good. You should know now that you can't overdose from marijuana, which is a commonly said thing from conservatives. Right?
A step ahead of that, though.
Okay.
What's the problem with what they're saying? Rats are eating marijuana, and now they're all high. False.
Well, I mean, you can't eat just plain buds and get
Thank you.
high.
Exactly. This is such a myth out there because people hear about edibles. They think you can just take raw cannabis, the leaf, and just eat it, and you'll get high. I learned that the hard way when I was 18, and I put a bowl's worth of pot leaves on my macaroni and cheese and ate it, being a fucking idiot thinking that I would get high off of it. But you got to cook it down. You got to get the oils out. That's how you eat pot.
They went so far as to say, the way to catch these bastards is to, put some mousetraps in a Dorito bag, something like that, because they're so high, they're just going to have the munchies and eat junk food.
I think what the problem that they're having is I think that other police officers are helping themselves to what's in the evidence room.
Yeah, right.
And they're blaming it on rats. That's
Put
exactly
a little shake on the ground. They'll think the rats got it.
We're trying to distract from the real story here that their police department is apparently riddled with mold and has leaking water and is just falling apart. So they're trying to make the story that rats are eating our pot. Now we got a bunch of stoner rats running around the city.
They're funny, dude. Yeah, well, they've been showing propaganda against weed for how long? I mean, what's the movie we all watched when
Reefer Madness?
Reefer Madness, dude. I mean, have you ever watched that as an adult? And it's not logical, the things that they say.
No, I mean, it's beyond propaganda. And I've been waiting for someone to rape me while I'm high on pot, because that was one of the core premises of that old propaganda, that everyone starts raping everyone when they're on pot. But
you want to be raped on pot?
Well, by an attractive woman.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
But yes, I only wish it was so easy to just gnaw on marijuana. And it irritates me. It was like getting the contact high in an outdoor tennis match that Fox News was railing about. Like, you people don't understand how pot works. Otherwise, it would be so much easier to get high. But you can't just get it from the open air, and you can't eat marijuana raw.
I had somebody in my life that is a conservative, okay, and they were over at my house a few years ago, and I had a big bong sitting on the table outside, and they were like, wow. Are you in trouble? I was like, what do you mean am I in trouble? They were like, this is getting pretty serious. Like, that's going to get you really messed up. I was like, No.
The idea, man.
I mean, it's not going to get me any more messed up than anything else I smoke with. You know what I mean?
Right.
They just don't know how it works and what the tools of the trade look like. And especially now with all the oils, with all, everything that, you hear old ladies that go to church on Sundays, every Sunday, talking about, I got to get my gummy, before I go to bed. It helps me sleep,
I'm so surprised at how mainstream it's become, really, the edibles, because my sister, who was never a big marijuana smoker, just told me the other day when we were on the strip together, like, no, I don't smoke pot or anything like that, but I take edibles at night to help me sleep. I'm like, well, okay, then. And my ex-wife told me the same thing about her new guy. My ex-wife recently asked me, like, hey, you still smoking pot? And I was like, yeah. Like, are you? She's like, oh, yeah. She's like, but my new guy doesn't. I mean, he takes edibles at night to sleep, but he doesn't smoke pot. I'm like, what the hell, people? Why are you drawing this distinction?
Yeah, well, I think it is a conscience thing, okay? Because it's cleaner. You're not doing something dirty like smoking weed, You're just taking a piece of candy that makes you relax a little bit,
Pot is very mainstream. Just accept it and learn slightly, just a little bit about it, and we'll all be in a better place.
And don't try and eat those raw buds to see if it works. It actually can make you feel a little nauseous and sick from what I've heard.
Well, it's a complete waste of money and good bud. I wonder now, though, could we cook up those rats? Could we, get them to be a edible rat or something?
No thanks.
Now you do have a problem, dude. If you want to get high that bad, like, you got issues, bro.
Yeah. That's one step above huffing Glade or something like that.
Yeah, right.
Scraping resin and then boiling rats. Those are the lower rungs of trying to get stoned. So.
Oh, I scraped plenty of resin, dude. I mean,
though. That is disgusting.
But you know what? When I was in high school, though, and we had to buy weed from dealers, I used to scrape resin out of my glass pipes all the time. And yes, a little gross, but it got you really high because it was so concentrated.
Absolutely. I was in the same boat back when pot was so hard to find. Sometimes you get desperate, you got to scrape resin, but it just always made my chest feel like I just painted it with glue or something.
So when you're an adult, dude, you'll never scrape resin again. I never have to do that again.
I knew a kid in high school who was a heavy weed smoker, and he actually used to take his weed, put it on a baking sheet, and take his dirty bong water and pour it on his weed, and then put it in the oven. On a low temperature, and then smoke it.
That's hilarious. I used to have people that tried to convince me drinking bong water would get you. It obviously doesn't. It filters the crap out, not the good stuff.
Well, no, but what it does is the bong water on like 200 degrees in the oven, it would start to gelatinize and that sort of thing. And he would reach in with a butter knife and pick it up off and spread it on top of his weed. And
but
then
there's
take
nothing
it out.
in it. That's disgusting.
He swore by it. I've never done it myself, so I can't say, but he swore by it.
Listen, I know a lot of stoner urban legends, and that would definitely be one of them. I mean, but Nick makes a good point. Nowadays, I haven't smoked resin since I was 20-something, and I always used to collect shake, and I would have a bag of just shake for those emergency days. Nowadays, I feel good about myself, where I'm like down to the bottom of an eighth. I'm just like, throw it away. I bought another one already. Like,
just gonna say, dude, when did we ever think we would just throw pot away? Yeah, I've done it so many times where there's just a little and it's a little crunchy. I'm just like, I don't need that, dude.
Oh, it's a sign of progress in America. Right, yes. I used to have this trick. I had a pizza tray from the Cottage and Pizza that I had. We would roll joints on. And my trick was at a party, I would put our pizza tray out to get everyone to roll their joints. Because then at the end of the night, you get to keep the tray that's got all the resin and, flush. Shake so you could scrape a joint or two just off of what everyone left on that tray. So
you've always been a genius, Steven.
Indeed. Thank you.
Are we out of time?
Yeah. We can do one more.
All right. Well, we'll do that.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
Hello, Americans. This is Paul Harvey. Stand by for news.
Welcome to Need to Know News.
I'm glad I've trained everyone to do that.
News you need to know. I feel like I can't carry forward.
Right.
until I do a Paul Harvey.
It's like leaving the rhyme undone. You see the psychology?
Yes, I do. Don Lemon may have had the shortest job ever for such a prestigious journalist. Whatever you think about Don Lemon, he was hired over at X. I don't know if I can't get the reports of whether or not there was a contract, a written signed contract, or if this was a good faith deal. But it is in court because he had the job for one day and he interviewed Elon Musk. You know, when you work for a company, you got to go for the big people, right? I mean, let's be real about this. So he sat down with Elon and did one interview, and then Elon cut him loose. This is now in court. Of course, Don Lemon is suing. Whatever you think about Don Lemon, some people love him, some people hate him, some people don't care. But he sat down.
Whatever, he's a lovable enough guy. But Elon Musk, the great advocate of free speech, apparently didn't like being asked certain questions. I mean, what was the deal?
Well, they sat down and he was seemed to me from Don Lemon a very polite interview. I mean, he was asking questions and they didn't seem like gotcha questions to me, just questions that kind of do deserve an answer that we don't all know, such as this one here.
So you said if they kill the company, it's them, but doesn't the buck stop with you?
I have to say, choose your question carefully. There's 5 minutes left.
Okay, but so
the same question you want to ask.
The same question is you said that they are killing the company, but you're the head of the company. The buck doesn't stop with you.
I acquired X in order to preserve freedom of speech in America, the First Amendment, and I'm going to stick to that. And if that means making less money, so be it.
Why would that question upset you? You seem upset by it, are you?
I think you.
And I'm not trying to upset you.
Well, you are upsetting me because the way you're phrasing questions, I think, is not cogent.
Not cogent. It's not cogent.
What a snowflake bullshit artist right there. Now, first of all, that is deeply triggering to me, and who knows why. I hate it when the guest tries to dictate the fucking interview.
No
yes,
kidding.
exactly.
Yes, you sat down for it, so let's do this. You can, if you don't want to answer a question, that's one thing. But to try and tell me which way my interview with you is going to go is ridiculous.
Right. You're the guest. Let the host conduct the interview. I famously exploded on someone on our show umpteen years ago that has now come up in my therapy because it was some like core memory of mine as to why arguing is beneficial to your career. But it was the same thing. The dude tried to tell me, like, I don't want that question. Ask me. I'm going to tell you what questions we're going to talk about. I was just like, the fuck you are.
No.
You know?
Did you feel like that was a tough question? I mean, aren't we all thinking that?
Right.
Like, doesn't the buck stop with you? Like, come on, dude. You're the owner of the company.
And the irony, what he just said, that I bought X to preserve free speech. And now 5 minutes later, I'm going to fire you for asking a question I don't want to answer. Hypocrite.
Comment section blows up with, I don't think Elon Musk is used to being told no. He's surrounded by yes men, and that's a common problem when with exceptionally wealthy people. But you're on video here, dude, and you don't think this is going to make the social media rounds and everybody is going to see what a hypocrite you are?
Just give a one-word answer or something. I mean, don't flip attitude and don't be a giant hypocrite. You didn't like the question, so now you turn around and fire the guy, a journalist who you are saying you're doing all this to protect free speech and give a platform. You like Tucker Carlson's bullshit, but not Don Lemon, so you fire him.
Prior to this, Don Lemon said that, they were courting me. I mean, they were taking me out for, they wanted me over here. Yeah. They were taking me out for fancy dinners. And now that you're asked that question, it's just too much. Don Lemon went on to talk about the hate speech that we see on formerly Twitter, now X. And he was pissy. He was just pissy the whole time. And if you watch the interview, I had to cut some of it out. There was just long stretches of silence because Elon Musk, I think he was thinking, but he was also trying to show that he was irritated and had no interest in answering the question. So this is a little bit sped up.
We delete things if they are illegal.
But these have been up there for a while.
Are they illegal?
They're not illegal, but they're hateful and they can lead to violence. As I just read to you, the shooters, in all of these mass shootings, attributed social media to radicalizing.
So Don, you love censorship, is what you're saying?
No, I don't love censorship.
Then why are you asking?
I believe in moderation, but I don't believe in
censorship. Moderation is a propaganda word for censorship.
But don't you think free speech is one thing, right? Or not,
Look, if
not
something's
censorship?
illegal, we're going to take it down. If it's not illegal, then we're putting our thumb on the scale and we're being censors. The laws in this country are put forward by the citizens. We're a democracy. If those laws are put in place by the people, we adhere to those laws.
Okay, I
And we
agree.
adhere to the laws of others. If you go beyond the law, you're actually going beyond the will of the people.
Okay, agreed with the law. But if you are doing something that promotes hate and violence and ultimately leads to killing, you don't feel you have any responsibility not to do that? When the people who are doing it admittedly are saying
there's articles all the time that lead to violence and killing.
I mean,
Not when it's something I agree with.
Yeah, that's exactly what he was saying. He was like, the media never does that. I mean, they post stuff all the time that promotes violence. No, not like you do. You are allowing hate speech on your platform, and everybody sees that. Just say, I'm good with it, dude. I believe in all that stuff, and I own the company, so I'm going to do it and allow it.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Own it if that's what you're going to do. But obviously, there's a difference between things that are illegal and things that are unethical or false misinformation. It may not be illegal to spread a lie about Joe Biden, but if you're a major media platform, there's responsibilities that go along with that. And you're supposed to do truth in advertising, truth in content. And he's, again, being a giant fucking hypocrite because he turned around and fired Don Lemon because he didn't like what he said.
Exactly, and the questions that he asked. I know that people always say, like, you can't yell fire in a crowded movie theater, and it's a little overplayed, but it's the truth in its most simplest form. Like, freedom of speech does not mean you can say anyone, anytime, anywhere, to anyone, anytime, anything. You know what I mean? There are some restrictions, and part of this, Elon Musk, is just about creating a good society. We have a societal contract that we agreed to, and this is damaging, dude. You know it's damaging, so be a fucking human being and don't allow it.
He bought that toy to play with it, to have his own little platform, to make himself feel heard and cool and all that stuff. And every time I'm on X, I am just aghast at how much political garbage that guy is spewing as the head of a company. He has no ethical, moral compass as to what is true or not. Illegal is a whole different category when it comes to speech, and it's a small category.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you let hate speech proliferate. It doesn't mean you let misinformation and falsehoods just run wild on your platform. You could stop them. They stopped us from using the word slut. Don't tell me they can't ban the N-word.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Stephen, what does Uncle Ben say? I mean, this is the great advice for Elon Musk. What does Uncle Ben say?
It's done in 5 minutes.
Exactly, dude. It's with great power comes great responsibility.
Oh, that
dude.
Uncle Ben.
Yeah, that Uncle Ben.
Enough said.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, with great power comes great responsibility. I was thinking about rice. I'm sorry.
It's all right, dude. I don't think we're allowed to call him Uncle Ben anymore either. So you should get that out of your head.
It's not illegal, Nick, so we can say whatever.
I guess so. Yeah. Well, screw Elon Musk. We hate him on this program, and rightfully so. He's a moron. And Don Lemon, I hope you get your next gig, dude. Maybe you won't have to because you're going to sue for a lot of money, I know, and I think you'll probably win, right?
Right. And by the way, the woman we talked about who Elon Musk is paying to sue Disney, she is now getting blacklisted in Hollywood everywhere. No one wants to touch her. So even if she does win this stupid Disney lawsuit, Elon Musk has helped her destroy her career by trying to fund this ridiculous lawsuit against Disney. So kudos. You got what you had coming to you.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I don't know. Fuck them all. And by the way, I got a new iPhone. I had to update Twitter, so now I fucking have X on my phone. I was holding out. I had the last version of Twitter. Now I have this. But hey, we're on it. So find us there and find us everywhere else on the social medias.
Indeed. And call our comment line. It's 844-48-VOCAL. Try the comment line out. See what you think of it. Use your telephone as a microphone. And thank you for listening to our podcast.
Aaron Gobra and Slan.
And we say bye-bye.
Test 1 2, test 1 2.
Stop.